The duck is back. The duck is back. Hopefully, I'm not doing a head chop. As you can see, old Betsy's up. Another S&S. I seem to, yeah, just, anyway, well, they're all the same, really. This is the model you can see with, it's hasn't got the ignition in the nose cone. It's got no nose. Just hang on a minute. I'll see if you can see that, because it's just, yes. Anyway, wasn't going to do a video, and then I thought I've got just enough time. Anyway, so I got this S&S manual, and I found out that there's a sensor on this bike in the wrong place. Even though I was really meticulous in moving everything, because I bought this engine, I bought another bike with this engine in it, and then put this engine, swapped my old engine into that bike and put that engine into here, if you get my drift. And I'm not sure whether I put the sensor in the wrong place or it was in the wrong place when I bought the bike. But anyway, the manual says it's in the wrong place. So I'm trying to move it. Got a ride on this weekend. So what else was I going to talk about? The 113. So that engine is a V-113, so it's 100 and I think most guys referred to them as 110, but it's a 113. What have I done with that? Bear with me. As organised as forever. They just can't get over the size of these pistons. They're absolutely huge, right? So a 96 cube engine, which is this one, and this is the 113. Look at the size difference. And couple of things that the engine rebuilder pointed out was they've taken this engine to the maximum, right? The very, like, pushed it right out, and they've even hollowed that skirt off there, right? And that skirt is hollowed out like that, so when it comes down on its stroke, if you can imagine, my finger is the crank, right? And when that piston comes down, the conrod's going to come down like that, right? And that's so that conrod doesn't hit the side of the pistons, if that makes sense. But like the engine rebuilder said, the downside of that is that allows this piston to do this sort of movement more inside it, inside the barrel. The barrels. Oh shit! Get him out, duck. So you can even see it here on the barrel, right? And that's the same problem when that conrod doesn't hit hit the inside of this, so they scalloped it out. It's quite impressive what they've done, to be honest. Things what the engine rebuilder said to me was that the scrape marks up the side weren't too bad. He didn't think they were too bad at the beginning. I'm not sure if he heard me say that it had just not long been rebuilt. But anyway, he measured them up. He measured them up, and he said that the barrels didn't look too much. He said that the gap don't be too swayed about seeing that top ring from the top, because it's the piston actually grows in size that much, that he wasn't actually that fazed with seeing that top ring, which was interesting. He measured them up, and he said to me that that the bottom, just bear with me, bloody things. Oh, now I'm having an absolute brain fart at the moment. So he's saying up here's not too bad, but the barrels are actually out around by 6 thou, right? Now 6 thou doesn't sound like a lot, but whenever they start talking about dimensions like these on engines, any time in engineering they talking about circles, they're talking about everything is divided by 2, okay, because it's a circle, right? So if you've got 6 thou clearance, that means you've got 6 thou clearance on each side. That tells you that it's got 12 thou overall, and at 12 thou overall we couldn't actually go just 10 thou up. We have to go 20 thou up, and then when we go 20 thou up, then he's gonna bore these round again. Another thing, and then on another matter, I was talking to another man, and I explained to him how I thought to get rid of those grooves in the barrels, they had used a hone. And then what he said to me is, he said, Dux, what you're explaining to me is what happens when they don't use honing plates, not talking plates, honing or talking plates. I can't remember now. I'll have to look in the manual. Anyway, it's these plates, and they put them on the top and the bottom of the barrels, and they do them up to, from what I can understand, simulate the pressure of the head while they're, as if they were bolted down on the head in the bike. So I'm not sure if that's making sense, but basically the people who bored them out, honed them, didn't put these special plates in and simulate the engine was bolted up. It was bolted up, and then that allows the barrels to be out around, or allows them to move, or it's sort of. I'm going to have to get another take on it, because I've seen the same thing in the manual. I've seen it a couple of times in the manuals now, and they say that you must bolt them up with these honing plates or torque plates before you hone them. Anyway, so 20 thou over. Ooh. And that's a big whack. So this is taking this engine up the bigger size again, and then the what I've been suspicious for a while not with this engine, but with that engine, is I had one in here probably 6-7 years, quite a while ago, and he had a 1.1. I think that bike was a 1.13, and it had decompression levers in it, and so decompression, they're not levers. The manual says you can get levers, but inside the top of this hole here, they have electronic solenoid, what is like a little valve that opens, and it's to help the starter turn the engine over. And this engine never had them. And when I pulled it apart, I was expecting it to be a 96 cube, the same as this one, because it didn't have the solenoids, right? And then I was talking to a mate the other day, and he was saying, oh, those Ironhorse choppers, what they did is they bought the very basic engine to put into their bikes, and as long as its thing started when it went out, that's all they cared about. A bit like, I think it was Orange, what was it? Orange Chopper County or something, Chopper County. It was the same thing why I stopped watching them. It's because it was all about promotions and TV. It wasn't actually, they didn't really build like reliable bikes that you do thousands of Ks on. And I think the Ironhorse choppers were the same. So I'll just get this thing, and so in here, this is the head, you see, and in here is where, hopefully you're in the shot, in here is where the decompression solenoids go. And I said to Rex, the rebuild, the engine rebuilder, I said to him, oh, do you know anything about the decompression heads? And he goes, oh yes, I've got some of those the solenoids over here on the shelf. And he fished them out, and he knew all about them, knew how to put them in. I says, can you put them in? He's like, yep, not a problem, we could do that. And I was like, oh my God, you just made my life so much easier. My missus wants to go around there take him some flowers or something, because whenever I come back from Rex's, I'm in such a good mood. So anyway, that's the plan. I'm waiting for the electronic solenoids that I've bought for the engine to turn up. I'm going to turn them up. I'm going to take the valves out. I'm either going to relap them by hand or get them reseated. Rex will do that as well if I want. And we'll put that in, and then the whole idea of that, if I didn't make myself clear, is when when it's, so those electronic solenoids are hooked up to the starter. So when you push the starter, it automatically lifts the valve in the head and decompresses the engine just slightly enough to make it easier for the starter to wind over and fire. Okay? And then of course, as soon as you take your finger off the button, they close and the engine's running sweet. Now, a lot of these problems have caused because these starters and setups in these starters are not have not got the power or the grunt to turn over these big engines. So I think it's going to make a huge difference. I mean, the bike was starting all right with the way it was, but when and it seemed to have reasonably good compression, but I'm thinking once we do this, relap the valve, reseat the valves, clean it up, it'll just lock up. The owner has said that he's already gone through 3 starters and this, that, and the other. So it's just a no-brainer not to do it. And basically, what I suggested to him, if we weren't going to do it, we might as well just push it into the shed and forget about it, because it will never ever run right. It will never start right, run right. It'll just be a basket case. Anyway, so that's the update on that. And we'll get all... This job's not too bad. I've just got to loosen the bolts, loosen that front bolt there, and then I'll just lift that tank up and the sensors on the back there. I'll see how we're going for time, because I've got something else going on. 17, okay. I might as well show you the sensor while I'm at it. Oh God, did I bring the torch? I did. God, I have a brain, yes, and there's crap everywhere. I need to have a clean up. So this is the sensor here, and I'm having a complete. I think that's the. If I remember rightly, it's the compression knock sensor, and that it's got to. So I've got to move it from here. Oh God, hang on a minute, I'm not even looking at what I'm doing. Let's look at what we're doing. So this is the one here, right? And I've got to move it. The manual says it should be over here on this bolt in here. So, and then yeah, so that's all we're doing to that. Old Betsy looks like she needs a good clean. And basically, since I found that out, that I've been running around with it like that, the manual says that the manual says that it can cause what was it, detonation. What was it? Detonate. It's wrong anyway. I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, and I was going to do a demonstration of how to make a clamp. That was something else I want to do, but I don't think it's going to happen. Not today. It's already up. We're already up probably 20 minutes. That's it, I think. Can't think of anything else. Probably will when I watch the video and listen to all my mistakes. For a lot of you there you might notice I call things the wrong thing, or and if you hear me saying something wrong, or you think it's wrong, or you want to put a comment up or ask me something, or you'd like me to show you how to do something or a different way of doing it, by all means put it up. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say, is I've actually invented a new tool to actually put these pistons, put the piston pins back into the pistons in the con rod. So that's going to be a good watch, and that'll be an interesting, and I'm dying to make it actually. And it's an alignment tool what will line everything up and put it together for you without having to do diddly. But there's probably an S&S tool or a special Harley tool that does the same thing. But anyway, once again, it's my design. It happened, I think it was the next day after I thought of the wooden hand. I went, oh wow, thought of another idea on those, instead of using the... Anyway, waffling on. All right, have a good one. The duck is out. Do 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 do.